we're going to be talking about doubt. Neville Goddard said, doubt is the only force capable of disturbing the seed or impression to avoid a miscarriage of so wonderful a child. Walk in the secrecy through the necessary intervals of time that it will take the impression to become an expression. Now, let me go on and kind of touch on what it was that he just said. He said, listen, first and foremost, doubt is the only thing that can keep you from your manifestation. He says, and he called in this case here, your manifestation, your seed. He's likening it to a mother giving birth or a mother being impregnated. The mother that he's talking about is the subconscious mind. He says, listen, doubt is the only force capable of disturbing the seed or impression to avoid a miscarriage of so wonderful a child. I like to say this, that every person is Mary awaiting Christ to conceive. Now, what does that mean? Mary is symbolic of the subconscious mind. The thought that we have or the impression that we have is the impregnation or the Joseph, or in this case here, the Spirit of God. Christ is the end desire. So what is it that you want to give birth to? Neville says, whatever it is that you want to manifest, he says the only thing that can stop that, and we look at doubt and we see it as something very small because we don't understand the relevance of what's being said. Doubt is the only force, as Neville stated, that is capable of disrupting the seed or the impression of what it is that we seek to manifest in our lives. Why is this relevant? Most of us take a very small view of doubt. We say, oh, I just doubted a little bit. But we don't realize that that doubt basically is stopping what it is that we want to bring about in our lives. I was talking to a gentleman recently, Mr. 2020, and he was talking about our superpower. And he said, you want to know what the superpower that everybody possesses. Now, he didn't say this, but I'll add this. Everyone possesses, but don't always realize that they do. And I said, well, what is that? And he said, it's acceptance. When we begin to accept the thing that we want to manifest as already being a reality, the problem is we've been so conditioned by mass mind reasoning, we believe that if we can't physically see it, then it must not be so. And so what that does is plant the seed of doubt. And of course, then we don't bring about the manifestation. Often when the master teacher, Jesus, would heal someone, he would say, listen, on your way to seeing the high priest, I like to say the high priest is that place of acceptance, that divine place of acceptance that we have what it is that we say. He said, but on your way to seeing the high priest, tell no one. He says, tell no man. Tell no man on your way to your manifestation. Why? Because when we begin telling people what it is that we want to be, do, or have, if they can't see it for themselves, they'll begin to plant the seeds of doubt. And so we'll get discouraged and we'll just say, well, maybe I was, dreaming. Maybe I was, thinking outside what's possible, so we start talking ourselves out of what's possible. But Neville said, listen, doubt is the only force capable of disrupting the seed or impression to avoid a miscarriage of so wonderful a child. That child is, again, what it is you desire to manifest in your life. He said, walk in secrecy through the necessary interval of time, that it will take the impression to become an expression. It's important, not only do we not share it with people who are not like-minded. There's some people that we can tell, and we know because of over history and courses of conversation that they're in agreement with us, and they can walk alongside of us as we manifest the thing that we desire. But we know that we have also a lot of naysayers. With those naysayers, their goal, and they don't even realize their goal is to disrupt your dream, to stop your dream. And a lot of times with naysayers, often it's because they see you thinking too lofty. They would say that Neville Goddard's father, because they thought that he thought he was better than them, wore his hat or something too high, he was above everyone else, as it were. His partners had even conspired against him because they thought that he thought he was better than them. And that wasn't the case. He just knew what he knew. When you operate from that place and knowing what you know, a lot of times people are going to perceive that you're arrogant, that, you're too high-minded, whatever it is. And their goal is to take you off of your high horse. This is the business of trolls and haters and so forth. Denzel Washington said this, and I really love what he said. He says, no one ever doing better than me has ever criticized me. And that's so true. People who are doing what they need to do, people that are out there doing what is necessary, they don't have time to criticize other people because they're too busy living their dreams. But those who have no dream or very little dreams or limited dreams, then they have all the time in the world to criticize and to hate. And this is why you can't share your dream with everyone. Now, if you're okay with criticism, if you're okay with the naysayers and you can move right through them, then that's not a problem. I don't give them much thought because I know who I am and whose I am. So in knowing that, I'm able to listen. I've been dealing with this stuff, my whole life. Before I went into the military, when I had my first job, when I got into the military, corporate America, there's always been those naysayers or those people who basically were hating because, of course, they saw you doing something that they didn't see possible for themselves. That's just the nature. But I was fortunate enough also to have those people in my life that could see my vision and walk alongside me and encourage me as I encourage them to live out their dreams. Make sure that you have those people in your lives as well. It's often been said that we can determine who a person's going to be, their income, their lifestyle, and everything by the 5 people that they find themselves hanging around. Some of you will say, well, Coach, I don't have any friends. I don't have people that I hang around. What are the 5 programs that you listen to? What are the 5 television programs that you watch on a daily basis? What is it that you're pouring into yourself on a daily? Those are your 5 people. And understand this, subconscious mind can't tell the difference between what it is that you're seeing through your eyes or your imagination. So for subconscious mind, it sees those things that you're watching on a daily as those interactions. As we continue to pour like-minded information, individuals, substance into our lives, then that's what we're going to outpour. But if you're pouring into your lives, negativity, the naysayers, conspiracy theories, and all this other stuff, and you're pouring this into your life on a daily basis, this is the only thing that you can pull from. Many of us say, well, Coach, I practice, the law of assumption. I'm doing, and then they give me a whole list of stuff that's not going right in their lives. Then at that moment, that's the law of assumption that you're practicing. Live from your desired end, not your present observation, or what Jesus called judging according to appearance. As you get in mind and you start visualizing from who it is that you want to do, be, or have, that's what shows up more often in your life. But let's go back to what Neville was saying. He said, listen, doubt is the only force that's capable of disrupting, disturbing, sabotaging, removing the seed or the impression. Where does that seed or impression start? The kingdom of God is the mind of men. It says, what you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. So what you say by way of your imagination, your thoughts, your words, your actions, heaven says this, be it unto you according to your faith. Heaven is in agreement with you. God only says yes. Now, understand this. We're not talking about just the verbal yes. God always agrees with our predominant thoughts, with feelings. So when we say, I'm not smart enough, then God says, be it unto you according to your faith. When we say, I can do all things through the divine spirit within me, then universe, God says, be it unto you according to your faith. Are you getting me? Whatever you're saying by way of your predominant thoughts, feelings, emotions, states, God agrees with you and says, be it unto you according to your faith. Or we can use the fable, Aladdin's lamp. Your wish is my command. And this is why Mr. Linda will talk about, the pleading, the crying, and the begging. Only thing that brings about is more reason to plead, cry, and beg. You have to get into the spirit of, as Jesus said, thank you, Father. You begin thanking Source, God, for the good that you're expecting. Because, see, that expectation or that acceptance is bringing about that in your reality. Now, let me go back to what Neville said, because this is paramount. He said, listen, first and foremost, you must avoid doubt at all costs, because that's going to cause the miscarriage of whatever that desired child is that you want to bring about in your life. He said, but walk. He said this, and this is very important. Walk in secrecy through the necessary interval of time, that it will take the impression, whatever it is that you're imagining in your mind's eye, to become an expression or the outpicturing in your world. Everything that's showing up in your world right now is past impressions of your thoughts, your words, your actions, your feelings, your states. When we understand that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, whatever it is that we're vibrating with feelings, thoughts, and emotions, attitudes and dispositions and so forth, those are the things, those are impressions, but they will ultimately become expressions. I think that I'm clear on this. Whole point is, creators, if you want it to show up in your world, give your attention to it. But if it's not something that you don't want to show up in your world, then you begin changing your thought patterns, your habits, your feelings, your states, your emotions. You can't go on autopilot and think that you're going to manifest the life that you desire. Let me end by saying this, that only you can create your perfect world, not God or man. Only you can create your perfect world. This is Coach DeCarlo saying have a great and abundant day.